London. London and Tel Aviv. A city that has witnessed more secrets than perhaps any other on Earth. But tonight, the atmosphere feels different. It is heavy, like the static in the air before a lightning strike. Inside a dimly lit safe house just a stone's throw from Vauxhall Bridge. Two men are sitting across from each other. They aren't laughing. They aren't even looking at each other. Between them sits a half-finished pot of tea, the steam slowly curling into the damp air. One man represents MI6, the legendary British Secret Intelligence Service. The other, Mossad, Israel's powerful, efficient, and quite frankly, shadowy espionage agency. For decades, these have been the power couple of the intelligence world. But tonight, the conversation is clinical, precise, measured. Our target is moving through Europe again. The Mossad agent says, his voice barely above a whisper. If we don't act fast, Tehran will get what it needs. The MI6 officer doesn't answer immediately. He watches the steam fade from his cup, a metaphor for the trust evaporating in the room. Finally, he speaks. We will share the files. But this time, no unilateral action. Understood. Understood. The Mossad agent replies with a faint smile. But they both know the truth. In the world of high-stakes espionage, trust isn't a feeling. It is a temporary tactical convenience. And as we are about to see in this cybercrime documentary, that convenience was about to reach its breaking point. To understand the fallout, we have to look at the foundation. By the early 2000s, the alliance between London and Tel Aviv was a masterpiece of covert engineering. They had common enemies: Iran's nuclear ambitions, Hezbollah's financial pipelines, and a rising tide of global cyber terrorism. On the surface, it was flawless. Behind closed doors, it was a marriage of resentment. You see, the British way of intelligence is old world. It is deliberate. It is rooted in diplomacy, long-term surveillance, and what we call plausible deniability. Mossad, however, operates on a different frequency. Speed, aggression, plausible risk. As one retired British officer famously put it, we were surgeons. They were commandos. The first major fracture happened in 2004. In Berlin, MI6 was running a delicate operation targeting a money launderer for Iran's missile program. They were building a human chain of evidence. Mossad was watching the same man, but they didn't tell the British. Without warning, the target vanished. Weeks later, his body was found on the outskirts of Hamburg. The operation was dead. The British informant, a man who risked everything, was gone. Likely dead or exfiltrated. Officially, London said nothing. Unofficially, that was the night MI6's Iran desk started marking files as UK eyes only. This is where the shadow war truly began. From that point on, every piece of shared intelligence was filtered. Every joint mission was a double-edged sword. Because in the world of shadows, if you aren't at the table, you're on the menu. Let's talk about the breaking point. Late 2009. The mission was codenamed Winter Harvest. The target was a man named Hassan R., an Iranian arms broker suspected of moving advanced guidance systems for ballistic missiles. Both agencies wanted him off the board, but for different reasons. For MI6, he was a goldmine of information, a source to be flipped. For Mossad, he was a threat that needed to be erased. A secret coordination cell was set up in Brussels. Analysts from both sides shared coffee, encrypted data, and polite nods. But the British suspected Mossad would jump the gun. Mossad suspected the British would leak the location to European partners to slow things down. They were both right. In Vienna, the air was freezing. A Mossad surveillance team was operating out of a modest apartment. They were using fake passports, cloned identities of European citizens, including British names. This is a classic move in state-level cybercrime, where identity spoofing is used to bypass border security. On the morning of the operation, Hassan R. left his hotel. Before the joint team could move, two men approached him. There was a struggle. Within minutes, the Iranian national was gone. By noon, it was all over the Austrian news. By 2 p.m., MI6 realized they had been played. Mossad had terminated the operation unilaterally. But it got worse. The identities used by the Mossad hit squad were British. The fallout was nuclear. The British Foreign Office was livid. One senior official reportedly said, "We cannot have foreign agents running wet work in Europe using our passports. It compromises every agent we have in the field." London didn't just protest. They expelled a senior Israeli diplomat. The alliance wasn't just cracked. It was shattered. As the 2010 seconds rolled in, the war moved from the streets to the servers. This is the era of state-sponsored cyber warfare. MI6 began noticing ghosts in their networks. Encrypted pings moving through Israeli proxy servers, bouncing through Cyprus, and ending up in European databases. These weren't random hacks. These were advanced persistent threats designed to siphon small packets of data over long periods. Mossad wasn't just hunting Iranians anymore. They were mapping British spy infrastructure. Inside GCHQ, analysts realized that their ally was treating them like a target. In 2016, a major incident occurred in Larnaca, Cyprus. A man was arrested with encrypted drives and diplomatic access cards. The safe house he was using, it was a British listening post that had been quietly rented years prior. Mossad had effectively bugged their own partner. Think about the technical skill required for that. We are talking about dark web scams on a geopolitical scale, phishing attacks targeting high-level diplomats, financial fraud mechanics used to fund black ops, and the exploitation of zero-day vulnerabilities in government software. By 2019, MI6 discovered an Israeli asset inside a British data analytics firm that handled sensitive defense contracts. The asset wasn't just spying. He was relaying British cyber strategies in the Middle East back to Tel Aviv. The response: a quiet, surgical purge. British cyber defense units removed every Israeli-linked contractor from sensitive projects. The intelligence divorce was now formal, silent, and absolute. Now, you might be thinking, that is all very James Bond. But what does it have to do with me? The truth is, the tactics used in these state-level shadow wars are the exact same ones used against you by cybercriminals today. Identity spoofing, phishing, and social engineering are the bread and butter of both spies and scammers. As the digital Sleuth, I have put together a protocol to help you defend your personal intelligence agency, your life. Number 1. Kill the password. Spies love passwords because they are easy to steal via major phishing attacks. Use passkeys or physical security keys. If a Mossad agent cannot clone your hardware key, neither can a dark web scammer. Number 2. Identity hardening. If your passport or ID is ever lost, it can become a breeder document for a fake identity. Use a service to monitor your records and freeze your credit immediately if you suspect a breach. Number 3. Encrypted islands. Do not let your data sit in one giant cloud. Use zero-knowledge encryption for your files. Even if the service provider is hacked, the data remains unreadable. And number 4. The Vauxhall filter. Treat every urgent email or text as a unilateral action. If an email asks for an immediate login to save your account, it is a trap. Verify through a separate channel every single time. Today, MI6 and Mossad are talking again. A common enemy, a Russian-backed cyber collective, has forced them back into the same room. But the tea is cold now. The handshakes are just for the cameras. In the world of the digital sleuth, we know that reputation is the only currency that matters. Once you break trust, you never truly get it back. You just learn to coexist in the gray zone. The secret war between these two titans reminds us that in the digital age, there are no permanent friends, only intersecting interests. So, what do you think? Is trust a luxury we can no longer afford in the world of global security? Or is cooperation the only thing keeping us from total digital chaos? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden world of cybercrime and espionage, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. We are revealing the stories they want you to forget. One secret at a time. I am the Digital Sleuth. Stay safe, stay encrypted, and keep watching the shadows.